now, from Jack's medulla oblongata, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome two men whose name is actually Robert Paulson. What? Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
A Robert Paulson reference. Boy, that's confusing. Bob, from whom?
Axel Pironio. Pironio.
Yeah.
Bingo was his name-o. I don't know.
Well.
It was free.
Yeah. Axel, longtime listener in France. Thank you, Axel. Mark, you are sitting over there typing away fiercely. What are you doing?
Well, Wade, we just got out of The Dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
The Ron Howard film with
Thanks for reminding me.
And I am transcribing my notes.
You're trying to, because you have to write it up.
I have to write it for Box Office Magazine. Boxoffice.com. God, I can. You know what? I've gotten pretty good at being able to read my writing. Because, when you go into a movie, you take notes. That means that you... so you don't take notes.
Never. I did. The first movie I ever reviewed, which was Edward Scissorhands, was the only film I ever took notes for. And after that, I just said, you know what? If there's something that I don't remember, that I would need notes to remember, it's not worth writing about.
But I have no memory.
What's my name?
Steve.
Thank you. Okay.
So if you hear me typing, it's because I'm transcribing my notes. But actually, before I transcribe my notes, I have to say that Star Wars is coming out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's not the right way.
They announced this in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the complete saga on Blu-ray. All 6 live-action Star Wars films. And the complete saga is available for $139.99 in the U.S., and this is very exciting up to a point.
Well, it's not going to be the right... Look, it's going to be the Lucasized, bastardized, facelifted, horrible version. Anyone who still wants to see Greedo get shot in cold blood, who wants to see no CGI in their Star Wars, who wants their Star Wars the way that it was released in 1977, still isn't going to get a chance to see it. Not until George Lucas dies, which is kind of sad. He stands as an obstacle to people actually seeing the film that he originally made.
Would it really happen after he died? Could he not stipulate in his will? I mean, look, Stanley... but hang on.
Yeah, you're going to go to the Kubrick widescreen thing, yeah.
Well, no, not even the widescreen thing, the Fear and Desire.
Yeah.
He kept... he hated Fear and Desire. He kept that thing... He kept that thing under wraps for decades.
I know.
But after a while, he died in 99.
Yeah.
11 years later, we saw it projected.
Finally.
Bloody
freaking finally.
And Jan Harlan and Christiane Kubrick are still around.
Yes, but everybody, at a certain point, the people who are supposed to be the keepers of the flame, Leon Vitali and that whole crowd, they come to their senses. It's always the filmmaker who feels more emotionally invested in somehow trying to maintain control. It's silly.
Well, because Kubrick was about control.
Yes. Lucas isn't about control. Lucas is about money.
Yes.
Which is sad. Anyway.
So we're talking about Stanley Kubrick and George Lucas in the same...
Isn't that amazing?
...story. September 2011 is when you'll be seeing this craziness, and I, for one, am going to buy it because it is Star Wars.
There you go.
Although I'll tell you, in order to make this thing sing on Blu-ray, they're going to have to really go to town on it because people will be... This is one of those movers and shakers. In fact, I'm surprised that the Blu-ray folks are not a little upset that he's not coming out with this a little sooner.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was for the summertime. Because now they got to wait a whole... Because, look, this is going to sell huge.
You know what they don't need to wait for?
What?
The Virginity hit, which comes out next week.
Oh, you're changing the subject.
Because they sent us this amazing swag to remind us of that. This is like a 10-cent razor that says The Virginity Hit on one side and then printed on the other side on DVD January 18th. And, I was thinking, boy, I need a razor. I'm so glad they sent this to me.
I'd like to say something, which is that whenever I've used a portable razor, I always get a good shave.
Really?
I do. Doesn't matter what portable razor it is.
Interesting.
I don't know why that is. Although I wish, is there, and by the way, this has so much to do with DVDs, but I have to say, is there an electric razor anywhere in the world that gives you a decent shave?
No.
There is not.
No.
God has still not invented one.
Not one.
Because I'd buy it.
Yeah, I know. I would too. I used to shave with a razor, but with an electric shaver, but no.
No, it's lame.
No. Lame.
By the way, can I say what else I don't do?
What don't you do?
I do not use shaving cream.
Really?
That is true.
What do you use?
I nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. What is the difference between a beard with shaving cream and without? A bunch of white stuff on your face. It doesn't do much. Now, but this is so exciting.
This has nothing to do with DVDs, but I'm fascinated. I mean, I don't use shaving cream either. I use the brush and the soap.
See, that's lame too. The only thing
That's old school.
No, it's not. It is old school.
Yeah.
The only thing I've used.
I also use one of those blades that they use to like slit people's throats, and I put on the leather strap and.
Like the full-on Barber Seville blade.
Yeah.
The only thing I've used that will help raise your beard is like oil. Like you get like an ounce of oil. It's like $20 for an ounce, and it's that stuff works, but it's very expensive.
Yes.
So I generally just sort of shave with nothing, and it's fine.
Jeez.
You get in your shower.
You don't bleed or anything.
No, you get in your shower, and it's there's
God
steam.
bless you with nice skin, not me. All right, let's talk. Hey, it's football season, which means
baseball DVDs.
Makes no sense, but anyway.
Oh, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. This is the first time they've won it since they moved to California in 1958. And this was kind of a fun team. They had the Panda and the Freak. And they had that crazy guy who crosses his arms after each save, Brian Wilson.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it's good stuff on Blu-ray. This is it's Buster Posey. He's good, too. There's also some bonus footage, including the NL Division Series Game 5, Last Out, the NL Championship Series Game 6, Last Out. A bunch of good stuff on Edgar Renteria and Freddie Sanchez. Good baseball stuff from the good folks at the MLB Network. Also, Major League Baseball. By the way, the MLB Network.
Yes. What about it?
It's pretty much the only network I watch.
Really?
I watch the MLB Network.
Mike watches that too, doesn't he? Mike Rotman, producer Mike from Stupid for Movies.
Yes,
he's big on that too, isn't he? Yeah.
Here's what I watch. I watch the MLB Network, Family Guy, and whatever crappy TV we have to watch for this show.
All right.
So
there
now what we have is from the good year 1960. We have Game 7 of the 1960 World Series. Now, here's the thing about Game 7 of the 1960 World Series. This footage was the entire game.
Okay.
And a lot of this footage has not been seen literally in decades. And
wow.
This is the game where Bill Mazeroski hit his historic home run.
I don't know what that means, but I'll take your word for it.
It's the shot heard around the world.
Okay.
So this is good stuff. Game 7 of the 1960 World Series. There's some bonus material, including some season highlights from the Pirates in 1960 and some newsreels. I love the newsreels. And there's some interviews with Yogi Berra, Johnny Blanchard, and some
anything with Yogi Berra, I'm there.
It is true. It is true. It's Yogi Berra.
Awesome.
You know, that restaurant is so crowded, no one goes there anymore. Really? That's what Yogi Berra said. Actually, you know what? A friend of mine...
I know. The pizza story. Go.
Okay. I can tell. I'll tell that one too. I was going to tell another one. I'll tell that one because you said pizza story.
Okay.
A friend of mine his father used to be vice president of the Yankees.
Yeah.
And he was eating with Yogi Berra at an Italian restaurant.
Right.
And they order a pizza pie. Waitress says, Mr. Berra, would you like your pie cut into 6 slices or 8? And Yogi says, better make it 6. I can't eat 8.
And that's a very famous quote, and he was the witness to that.
Yes, he was.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Well, not only is it not baseball season, it's not dance season. I don't know what that means. But we have 3 terrific documentaries about dance, and I got to recommend all 3 of them. I'm not, a big dance guy. I like my Fred Astaire and my Gene Kelly and my Leslie Caron and my Sid Charisse, and that's about it. But these are pretty terrific, all of them. And it's funny, they kind of all came out simultaneously. The first one is Dancing Dreams. If you know anything about Pina Bausch died in 2009, but before she died, she put together this dance piece called Contact Zone and cast 40 unknown teenagers. And this is the 10-month process of putting that together, rehearsing them, teaching them, twisting them, bending them into pretzels. It's pretty terrific, and this is from First Run Features, and this is just a wonderful, wonderful. Don't like rent Step Up or Step Up 3D. This is what you want to get. And then the other 2 docs are about foreign kids who get their chance at kind of pursuing dreams as professional dancers. One is from Film Movement, Only When I Dance, which is about a couple of kids from Rio de Janeiro, from the slums, who kind of work. It's kind of a hoop dreams for dance. It's really terrific.
Any slum story from Rio?
I know, it's great.
Favela stories?
It's great.
All great.
It's great. This is just terrific. Also includes a really, really good short film called Lila, directed by Katharina Sophie Brouwer from Germany. This and the other film, by the way, is a kind of a UK Portugal co-production. And the German film is also terrific. This is about this 12-year-old who has who overcomes certain physical disabilities through dance. It's pretty terrific.
Hey, Wade.
What? Throwing your notes away?
I'm done with one page of notes. I'm now on to my next page of notes.
Awesome. Rocket. That's how to multitask.
Notes. That's right.
And then the last one is also from First Run Features, a terrific story called Dancing Across Borders, about this kid from Cambodia who kind of, a similar kind of a deal, looking to pursue a dream to become a dancer, and it's just as inspiring, just as exhilarating. Has some great extras on it, including some performances from the film Tchaikovsky Pas de Deux, Square Dance, Coppelia, La Sylphide, La Sonambula on the other side. A lot of great stuff. So definitely check out all three of these documentaries if you are a fan of dance. Gotta dance.
Yeah, great.
Also, we should, let's see, we got...
You don't know what to do next. You're looking around,
I'm
scanning
looking around.
the table.
I'm looking at. I'm just trying to figure out what the. I want to hold off on some of this. This is our dramatic pile today.
Oh,
we have. Stop it.
Are you going to give me that on top?
No, I'm not. So just stop it.
You never get 2 copies of anything.
Oh, occasionally I do.
Yeah,
I beg them. I always beg them for the 2 copies of the good stuff. But let's talk about some bad television first. Just kind of warm the listeners up. Hot in Cleveland, Season 1. This is that Betty White show that has no reason to have Betty White in it because it just kind of sullies her reputation endlessly. Mark, have you seen this show, this TV Land show?
I have seen clips of it.
I mean...
Look, you realize if your show is on TV Land, you're not getting the best comedy writers out there.
But yeah, and that's the thing. You go Valerie Bertinelli, Jane Leaves, Wendy Malick, Betty White. Wow, what a cast.
Yeah, this is 1978.
You know what? It's all about the writing, and the writing on this show is terrible. It's just terrible. I just don't get it. But anyway, if you like the actresses and you can sort of overlook, or you want to just sort of watch them and put it on mute, maybe you'll get something out of it. Got a few featurette things on here, bloopers and a set tour, and not much. And this thing starts a whole new season now. So, along with this other thing called Retired at 35, which they threw the pilot episode of on this, and I failed to watch it because it's just not interesting. Then we also get Greek Chapter 5, the complete 3rd season. I also likewise don't really get this show, but it apparently has some kind of a youthful following. And very little by way of bonus features. There's some featurette stuff, cast and crew audio commentaries on selected episodes. A featurette called Gotcha, some gag reels, the usual. Really, honestly, this show just feels like something that belongs in 1985, and I'm not quite sure why. The kid who was in Hot Tub Time Machine is about the only good thing on it, and I'll leave it at that. And Big Love, the complete 4th season, as this thing starts its very last season, which starts on January 16th. So obviously, once again, timed to push the current season. This show has gotten. I actually know someone who's a semi-regular on the show, and she's really good.
She's a jerk.
But she's one of the better ones on the show. So I can't really say anything bad about it. I just have to say, rock on, Mireille. Rock on. Doing well.
You know it.
Yeah, very well.
ER, the complete 14th season, this thing just keeps going and going and going, and then it ended. But here's the thing with ER. By the time they got to, putting John Stamos in the cast...
Oh, I know, right?
It just seemed like now they're why not just...
I remember... It's when I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it when suddenly I said to myself, there is no one in this cast now that I'm even remotely interested in. Maura Tierney shows up for 10 seconds an episode, and I'm done.
But at least Tierney is kind of like an actor. Like John Stamos is like, oh, gee, now Ian Ziering's on ER. Now, every hack guy that was in the 80s on...
Yeah.
But it's interesting about this season because this was the first season where John Wells did not write any of the episodes.
I know.
He directed one, but didn't write any. So really, it's kind of running on fumes. But and it's kind of coming in for a landing ultimately.
And everyone is pretty much glad. Everyone who worked on that show for any extreme length of time, by this time they're saying, you know what, I love the check, I love the money, but really I got to do other things.
That is true.
I got to do something else.
You know, everybody loves Peter Morgan because Peter Morgan is a wildly talented, scarily talented screenwriter. Not everything he does is amazing. Sometimes he's off his game a little bit, but even him off his game is still great stuff. Here you get him writing, but not directing, that special relationship, which is the story of Bill Clinton's relationship with Tony Blair.
Yeah.
Now, any movie...
Surprisingly good, actually.
It is good. It's very good.
Really good.
This was on HBO, and it was nominated for 5 Emmy Awards. Now, any movie written by Peter Morgan having to do with Tony Blair can only mean one thing.
Awesomeness.
That Michael Sheen plays Tony Blair.
Yeah, of course.
Michael Sheen actually has made a career
out of playing Peter Morgan characters, particularly Tony Blair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Dennis Quaid plays Bill Clinton. Quaid does the best he can, but you know what? He's good, but you look at him, you're like, you look like Bill Clinton and Dennis Quaid had a baby. You look like that.
Totally.
So God love him, but it's okay. Sherry Blair played very well by Hope Davis. This is good stuff. These were don't forget too. When Blair and Clinton were first kind of forging their relationship, they were relatively young.
Yeah.
And they had the world. These guys were running the world, and it's good stuff. Really is good stuff. That special relationship worth a rental.
Definitely.
That's what I say.
The Ricky Gervais show, first season is now on DVD from Warner Brothers, and just as once again the second season is about to premiere on HBO on January 14th this week. And this is actually a really clever idea. Have you? I missed this on television, and it's terrific, actually.
Oh no, I'm a huge fan of Ricky Gervais.
But it's terrific. This is an animated show where they take these podcasts that were apparently legendary, most downloads ever according to Guinness, and it was just Ricky Gervais just riffing with his buddies. And they've animated them. They've added animation to these original podcasts, and it's really a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks stuff, where they did their Oldest Man in the World routine, and then later animation was added to it, which I think is always very clever. There's something about adding animation to something that was not intended for animation that always results in much more engaging animation. Does that make sense?
Wait.
Never mind.
Back up a second.
Okay.
What was that?
Well, it's a little bit. Here's another example. Nick Park and his first Oscar for Animal. What was the
Animal Planet, Animal Kingdom, Animal Crackers.
Well, anyway, the short that Nick Park first won his Oscar for, which was basically just a lot of little diatribes and musings, and he animated what these people said and put animals to it, little kind of claymation stop motion animals.
You don't know what you're talking
awesome.
about.
It's awesome. Anyway, no, this is really terrific. The first season of the Ricky
Creature
Gervais
Comforts.
show. And definitely check it out. The animation.
Creature Comforts?
Creature Comforts, thank you. Anyway, the animation is really, really good. It's kind of old school, sort of like Flintstone era animation, mixed a little bit with a little dash of Ren and Stimpy or something. I don't know, something like that. But really, really good. So top notch. Andy Bialk is the guy who did the character designs.
Max Bialystock?
Exactly. There you go. Also want to do a huge plug for some British stuff. Last week we mentioned the Sherlock Holmes, Hound of the Baskervilles, and now we get the one that I absolutely love, which is Ian Richardson as Sherlock Holmes in The Sign of the Four, which is pretty great. This is from BFS. And the BFS stuff isn't always the easiest to find out there, but definitely check this out. Ian Richardson is terrific, really, really good, and not necessarily the one that most people are aware of. But if you've seen any variation of the Sign of the Four or the Sign of Four, this is probably, I think, at least in the top 2. So check it out. It's one of Conan Doyle's better stories and one of the better versions of it. Also from PBS, this is I can't make it the pick of the week because we got so much other good stuff coming up, but I can't say enough great things about Macbeth. This is Patrick Stewart's amazing performance from the British stage, West End stage performance in Macbeth, which was redone as kind of a fascist tone to it. There was sort of a Spanish-Italian fascist motif going through this thing. I had the enormous privilege of actually seeing this in late 2007 in London, and this thing actually ended its run in December of 2007. I saw it in October of 2007.
With Patrick Stewart.
With Patrick Stewart, and it was phenomenal. I mean, he was magnetic. It was unbelievable on stage. You don't necessarily get that same dynamic watching it on the DVD, but you do get just how amazing it was. And this is the only way it's been captured. So, I mean, you're never going to see him do this live again. Highly unlikely. So get this now and just soak it in. It is so, so good. But be prepared, it is gory. I mean, it is bloody and gory. It really is. And if you go, well, how can a stage production be bloody and gory? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Just
you realize that
be prepared.
You realize that one of the most misbegotten Broadway shows ever was a Broadway version of Carrie.
Oh, that's right. I knew about that.
It closed after I literally think it might have closed after one performance.
Holy cow.
Quite legendary.
My
Quite
goodness.
legendary. Speaking of legendary, David Hasselhoff.
Oh, yeah, the Hoff.
This is the extended and uncensored Comedy Central roast of David Hasselhoff. You know, when I was growing up, back in the 1860s, the roasts, the old
Dean Martin
roasts.
I love those.
They were, you know what? They were.
Nobody remembers those.
They were gentle ribbing, gentle, clever ribbing.
Yes, we don't do that anymore.
No, this is basically ripping you a new a-hole with every possible four-letter word and orifice mentioned within 30 minutes.
True.
And with the thing with Hasselhoff is that with a lot of these Comedy Central roasts, the guys who roast you, they've never even met them.
Yeah.
You know? But with Hasselhoff, you got Pamela Anderson, Whitney Cummings, Greg Giraldo. Interesting. George Hamilton, Hulk Hogan, Lisa Lampanelli. Jeffrey Ross is the host of all these things, and I used to know Jeffrey Ross. He's a good guy.
I have to say, of the old school roasts, some of them could get pretty raw. I don't know if you ever heard.
No, but never. There was never any. There was double entendre stuff, but not pure blue stuff.
There was only once. I remember once. I think it was Pat McCormick ribbing Milton Berle, and it got really raw.
Well, because Milton Berle had a reputation.
Yeah, for his endowment.
Yes. Anyway, you know, if you like Hasselhoff, go for it. Otherwise, you know, there's the thing with the roast is that the funniest ones are the ones that roast people you like.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I have no love for Hasselhoff. I have no.
I like him.
Hasselhoff.
He's groovy. He gets drunk and eats hamburgers and humiliates his family.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Okay, we got a couple of comedy bits here, a couple of comedy performances from television, both of which I am fond of. Gabriel Iglesias, I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy, live from El Paso, is actually really quite funny, and it is now on Blu-ray. It has been out on DVD before, and you need the Blu-ray because Gabriel Iglesias is a big dude. So more of him means more pixels. And it's worth it. I really do think it's worth it. Again, Blu-ray for comedy, people go like, why, what's the point? It's just, it's funny or it's not. Doesn't matter what the resolution is. But something about the live performance really does kind of come through a little better on Blu-ray. And you get extra footage here and some, on-stage Q&A stuff with fans that was also shot in HD. And a deleted scene. But really, the guy is just hilarious and a very, very talented comic who's I think, got a much brighter future ahead of him. Also funny, but not on HD, on just regular Blu-ray, is Louis C.K. Hilarious, which was originally aired on Comedy Central. Uncut and uncensored, this one. And Louis C.K. can get pretty raw, but that's the whole point of it. He's
you love him.
You know what? Here's what I like about him. He's one of those few comics who will actually go there. He
goes there.
He goes there.
No, he didn't. No, he did.
He doesn't sort of dance around the edges, which you kind of get with like somebody like Jim Gaffigan, which is sort of what's funny about Jim Gaffigan is that he dances around the edges. But Louis C.K. just goes all the way over the cliff to the point where even after he said it, you go, did he really say that? Did he really?
You go, oh, no, he did.
Yeah. So anyway, very funny, but be prepared. It's mean. He's a mean man. He's a mean man. Mark, you are that's your puppy there. I can't deal with it.
Actually, shut up. You love this show.
I just can't.
I don't know why you don't love this. This is so up your alley.
I can't.
It's all that pop culture reference stuff.
It's too much.
Oh, Family Guy, It's a Trap. This is on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital copy in the same fantastic package. This, of course, is the last chapter in the Family Guy Yes.
No. I'm just
Last
never mind me.
chapter in the Family Guy Star Wars spoof. They did Star Wars. They did Empire Strikes Back, and now finally they're doing Return of the Jedi. In It's a Trap. This is a really funny conclusion to the whole darn thing, and there's some good extras on it as well. Good stuff. Good stuff. I really like this trilogy. I think it's funny. And what's amazing is that they actually got permission from Fox to do use some pretty unusual stuff. They were able to use the actual John Williams score. They used the score, the actual John Williams score, the recordings.
Lovely.
Which is great.
Awesome.
And also a lot of the very same sound effects, the lightsaber sound effects and the space gun sound effects. So it's terrific. I think it's really funny and respectful, and I like it a lot.
Awesome.
And I'm keeping it.
You know what's kind of weird is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8 motion comic. This is Blu-ray and DVD and comic book. Huh? How about that? This is kind of weird. This is like taking the Buffy the Vampire TV show and continuing it as a motion comic, and which is interesting because it's based on the Dark Horse comic series anyhow. But I was never a huge fan of the TV show, so I guess I'm not necessarily the best person to go, oh, wow, it's so cool. It's like it picks it up and it makes everything sort of quasi-animated and junk and stuff and coolness. But I could see there being a kind of fan attraction to kind of playing with the Buffy universe this way. And in some ways, just kind of glancing through it, it seems like all this stuff makes a lot more sense and feels less cheesy as a motion comic. I don't know. I'm never a big fan of motion comics in general, but why not? 19 issues in standard definition on the second disc and in high definition on the first disc. And so you can put it in the car or in the Blu-ray player or whatever. You can bring this thing with you wherever you want. And then real quickly, before Mark drags us into classic television, I got a little thing here called the Narnia Code, now that the current Narnia film is out there and not doing well. This is sort of like it's taking the idea that somehow there is a Da Vinci Code-like code somehow hidden inside C.S. Lewis's writings.
Just stop it.
I know. Anyway.
Nobody, you know what? There's no code on anything. Nobody saw Jesus in a tortilla in Mexico. The Shroud of Turin. Do you really think the Shroud of Turin is going to have Jesus' face on it? Mm-hmm. Have you ever dried yourself and put the towel to your face? Is there an imprint of your face on your towel?
The Shroud of Kaiser.
The Shroud of Kaiser. Nobody's seeing Narnia codes, and there's no Mayan 2012. There's no Nostradamus. There's a whole bunch of crap.
Even if it's crap, it's kind of fun to watch.
Christ.
It supplements your enjoyment.
Now I'm pissed off.
And then the complete season 5 on 2 DVDs of The Universe, which has become like, the Cosmos for our day. I still prefer Cosmos because it had Carl Sagan rocking the boat. But there's a lot of cool stuff on this. And some of these episodes are really pretty cool. They get into time travel, most notably, which as to whether or not it's possible or not. And that I thought was really super cool. That's almost worth the whole season 5 alone. And just great graphics to begin with. So check that out. And Lennon NYC, or is it Lennon NYC? It's only one N connecting Lennon and NYC. John Lennon, obviously all the rage still, and especially this year because we had the Nowhere Boy, which is coming out on DVD soon. That is correct. And Blu-ray. Nowhere Boy, about the childhood, the young adulthood of John Lennon. Pretty good movie. Well, this is kind of not all about John Lennon, but it's about a particular aspect of John Lennon's life and career, primarily around 1971, when he didn't want to be basically known as the guy from the Beatles, and he was trying to sort of forge a new identity and profile for himself. And it's interesting. A lot of stuff here that I had never seen before, never heard before, unreleased studio recordings. Really, actually pretty compelling. And you get a lot of famous people who kind of weigh in here. Elton John shows up. It's and Yoko Ono, who's a nut, but she even obviously kind of validates this thing as well. So if you want kind of to shine a spotlight, if you're a John Lennon fan and you want to see a movie that shines a spotlight on a particularly interesting part of his career that is often not substantially spotlighted, Or is it spotlit?
Wait, we have so
I
much
know.
stuff to
Never
go
mind.
through.
Go for it. Check it out. All right. What do you got there?
I have the Andy Griffith Show 50th Anniversary, The Best of Mayberry. Now, this is one collection that has all the episodes that the fans love. What's great here is that it has the full-length episode of the Danny Thomas Show that introduced the Andy Taylor character.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love this. I was never the hugest fan of Andy Griffith. I was a city kid. I want to see people all rural and drawling their R's and fishing and hunting. Not really into that, but I do love the cast commercials at the end with the sponsor spots. I love that stuff. That's all in this. It's good stuff. It's
Awesome.
good. There's also a little documentary called "Celebrating 50 Years of Mayberry." That's not bad.
Kind of ironic since we just saw a Ron Howard directed movie. We can't get away from the guy, can we?
That is true. That is true.
Awesome.
Speaking of things we can't get away from, it's Mannix, the 4th season. This is the season where Mannix, who cares? I mean, come on. Honestly, we're
It's
wasting
true, like,
time.
Every episode of Mannix is like every other episode of Mannix.
We have so much stuff to go through.
All right, I'll blow through real quickly. Shogun has been out before. This is the commemorative 30th anniversary edition, not on Blu-ray, just DVD. I don't get it. This deserves to be on Blu-ray. They should put it on Blu-ray. But you get a cool 13-part documentary on the making of Shogun and some historical featurettes, as well as an audio commentary by Jerry London, who directed it. But you got to put this on Blu-ray, folks. If you have the previous Shogun release, you should be fine. There's no reason substantially to upgrade. But I had forgotten that Orson Welles narrated, which makes it all super cool. Also, All in the Family, finally, the complete 8th season, which is a pretty great season, I got to tell you. This is this is the second to the last season, and it gets really grim in places. This is not a bright and sunny sitcom. This is like a sit drama in many cases. So definitely check it out. I like a lot of these. I like a lot of these episodes in the season. This is where it really, really got down and dirty, and yeah, so that's good. And then Vegas, I'm a big fan of Vegas. Dan Tana, 2nd season, volume 1. I wish they'd release them all in one volume, but there it is. Dan Tana, Robert Urich, the wonderful Robert Urich in the show that I just cannot get enough of because he parks his car in his living room. It rules. Not really any extras. And that does it for TV. Mark, should we before let's talk about some current movies. Alpha and Omega was a horrible, horrible animated film that wasted a lot of good voice talent. Justin Long, Hayden Panettiere, Dennis Hopper, Danny Glover, Christina Ricci. This is just a dreadful movie. Stay away from it. Absolutely stay away from it. Blu-ray and DVD. But it's not funny, not entertaining. Meet John Doe, new version, 70th Anniversary Ultimate Collector's Edition. This has been out before. It's a great movie. No reason necessarily to upgrade to this. VCI does a decent transfer on this. There are a lot of other releases out there, but this one has some. It's worth renting, I would say, more than buying. It's got some cool featurettes, audio commentary by Ken Barnes, and a few little tidbits from Frank Capra woven in. And, it's a great movie. Trouble in Mind is this bizarre movie that was directed by Alan Rudolph that has kind of fallen between the cracks. It's become like a cult film in many respects. It is finally out on DVD, 25th Anniversary Special Edition. It's got Chris Christopherson, Keith Carradine, Jean-Pierre Bujold. Good performances, odd movie. Alan Rudolph has really vanished as a filmmaker, which is weird because he was like Altman's heir apparent for a moment. And I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, it's not a completely successful film. It's an interesting character piece. No way really to substantially explain it. It's just kind of a weird neo-noir with some...
I like it.
You like it?
You know what? I think Alan Rudolph was an interesting guy. He was actually one of the better chroniclers of Los Angeles.
Well, that's why this is like a neo-noir.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like a... I mean, would you say it's like a Dashiell Hammett
It
thing?
is, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's definitely in that like John Salesy. Yes.
No, it's just...
I want this.
Okay. Rock on.
What do I want, you ask?
Yes, go ahead.
Machete. I like Robert Rodriguez. He's there's something annoying about him, but yet on the other hand, there's something about him that I like. Because you know what? I think with Robert Rodriguez, he makes whatever he wants to make, and God love him for it.
Yeah, true.
And Machete is not a perfect film, but it's the type of film that is just good old fashioned. Throw it in the DVD and just laugh at all the violence. Fun.
Yeah.
De Niro actually winds up giving a good performance because this is the type of films he should be doing, not little fuckers. Steven Seagal does a brief little cameo in it. And I like this movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun. and it's on Blu-ray. Looks terrific, and the Blu-ray has a bunch of extras on it, which you can check out, including some BD Live stuff. And you know how much Wade and I love BD Live.
Yeah, we love it.
Exactly. There's some deleted scenes on it, and so there you go. Machete, I'd go for it. I would get this. I would at least rent this thing on Blu-ray. I think you'll dig it.
Awesome.
It did horribly in theaters because, who was going to see this?
Well, they didn't send us the 3D version of the new Piranha 3D. They just sent us Piranha, which is, of course, the reboot Alexander Aja directed redo of Piranha, which is actually surprisingly kind of fun and campy. And I like it better when it's not 3D. But if you are going to do 3D, this was the movie to do it for.
Yes,
Blu-ray.
that is true.
Blu-ray. It's on Blu-ray.
I
got nothing else to say about that.
That is true.
Mark, how do we feel about Wall Street Money Never Sleeps? I'm still kind of wrestling with this, to be honest.
I liked it. I
like it better than the original, but it still does. And look, I think we talked about this. Shia LaBeouf, I just think is the worst thing ever introduced to the world since, syphilis. And but I didn't mind him, unobjectionable.
Well, you know why? Because everything that annoys us in him as an actor, is what he needed to sell that character.
I guess. I don't feel like Wall Street needed a sequel, but the fact that it has a sequel that's now better than Wall Street was, I find somehow strangely reassuring in a backwards way.
Well, the thing is that I think Wall Street not needs a sequel, but nowadays, given the state of the finances of this country and the average homeowner who's losing their homes, there really is room for a Wall Street sequel. Is this the sequel we wanted to see?
Not necessarily, but at least it feels better researched and kind of more level-headed and a little richer in the characters. Anyway, it's out. We got the collector's edition on Blu-ray here, and it's a 2-discer. It's got a lot of great extras on it, really good extras. Now, mind you, Oliver Stone did not write this. He just directed it.
It was written by
Alan Loeb,
who also wrote
the movie we saw tonight.
That's right.
The Dilemma. Suffice to say, Alan Loeb does a better job with the script of The Dilemma, or of Wall Street, than The Dilemma. The Dilemma is not a good script, but whatever. We'll deal with that on Stupid for Movies, won't we? This Thursday, 8 p.m. StupidForMovies.com. New year. New channel, new bat time. Well, anyway, you got a lot of featurette stuff here. But what's interesting is this Money, 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 the rise and fall of Wall Street. I find that actually probably the best little bit here. There's also an audio commentary with Oliver Stone, which ain't so good. The guy's losing it just a little bit. But anyway, worth it on Blu-ray, I think. And then I'm going to blow quickly through a couple more of these because there's one here that we want to get to because there's a story that goes with it. The Town is out on Blu-ray and DVD. The Town is the Ben Affleck-directed movie that has gotten way too much attention after the fact. I don't think this is an awards-worthy film in any way whatsoever, but it does have Pete Postlethwaite looking like he's about to die. And, he just did die, didn't he?
Oh, you killed him.
Yeah.
This movie killed him.
It must have. Anyway, you get there. This is weird because you get an extended cut and a theatrical cut here, both of them with commentaries by Ben Affleck.
Well, now, the extended cut adds a lot more information about the Ben Affleck character.
Which I don't think necessarily makes the movie better.
No, you know what? I'm not going to give it away, but I know what the information is, and it doesn't make the movie better.
It doesn't make the movie better. It's just another version for the sake of having another version.
I mean, the thing with The Town, and I begrudgingly liked it, I think when you strip it down to its essence, it's a ridiculous story.
It's absurd.
But somehow, because Affleck and his DP really give that thing more authenticity, it's more real looking and feeling than I think the material actually ever would have warranted.
And I'm also going to say Rebecca Hall is a great actress, can do no wrong. She just is great in everything she does. She's British, by the way. Sir Peter Hall, the stage director.
That is true.
It's his daughter. And look, let's face it, Jeremy Renner, terrific. John Hamm, terrific. I think they bring.
You know what, John Hamm, by the way, not terrific.
You don't think so?
I do not.
Really?
You know what?
Not on the John Hamm bandwagon.
Not in this movie. I think he had to play this hardcore guy. I didn't buy it. Didn't like him in that.
Well,
but you know what? Look, it ends in this big shootout. It's.
And then Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole is just... I fell asleep in this movie. This is just horrible. Zack Snyder should just... It is amazing animation, which is the problem. These crazy owls and this nonsensical, just mythical bunch of BS crap all thrown together. It's like all that Joseph Campbell junk from everything from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, all kind of thrown into a blender, and with a bunch of owls that all look the same, and the evil owls and the good owls, and some big magnetic web that hypnotizes good owls and turns them into drones. I don't know. None of it makes any sense. And it has his stupid slow motion, speed up slow motion stuff in it as well.
And that's what he'll be doing in Superman. When
And
he does Superman,
surprisingly violent for a PG-rated film. I gotta be telling. It's just get with it. This thing is really kind of a brutal movie. Should have been PG-13. Anyway, it was a 3D film. Not good in 3D. Not good in 2D. But if you want to watch it, it's on Blu-ray and DVD and digital copy all in one set. Mark, tell the people about our Social Network experience, because the Social Network is on DVD and Blu-ray this week, just in time to start its big Oscar run.
Hang on, wait. I'm checking my my JDate account.
Oh, is that a Facebook thing?
No, it's on JDate.
Well, we got to talk about the Social Network.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Fine. Hang on. I'm writing this number down.
Okay.
Got to call this girl. Got a number on JDate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look at this. Mark's dating activities. Mark's love life is interfering with our podcast.
Oh, yeah, the love life, the one I don't have.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Wade. So, what's it called?
Where did we get our Blu-rays, Mark? They weren't mailed to us, were they?
No, we actually were handed them on the street.
We were.
We handed them on the street. Wade and I went to a... here's the thing. Let's back up for a second. Sony sees the writing on the wall.
Yes, they did.
This movie's going to win Best Picture.
I was going to say that The King's Speech was going to win Best Picture, but it suddenly feels like the momentum has switched now that every single everyone,
National
every
Society.
critic, it's unreal. Every critics organization, ours included, and I wasn't one of the people who voted for it, but every critics group has anointed this film the Best Picture of the year, which has happened only to two other films in the last 15, 16 years. And that was last 20 years, and that was Schindler's List, and which went on to win the Oscar, and the other being L.A. Confidential, which failed in its run against Titanic. So, is this going to be a Schindler or an L.A. Confidential?
Will it be a Saving Private Ryan, or will it be a Shakespeare in Love upset by King's Speech?
Who knows? I don't know. I still think King's Speech is a better film, but anyway, it's a good film. It's still a good film.
So here's the thing: Sony sees the writing on the wall. They want to keep this thing in the press, in the media, out there during this crucial voting time. So what they did was Sony threw an enormous DVD release party, Blu-ray release party at Spago. Now, Spago is the restaurant run by Wolfgang Puck, one of the world's most famous chefs. And if you eat at Spago, you're going to be eating good food.
Oh, yes,
you
will. Yes, you will.
Now, I did the best I could tonight, eat all day. Of course, I can't really do that. I just have to eat. So by the time I got to Spago, I was maybe, my stomach was maybe half full.
Mm-hmm.
However, we got there. Wade sat down in the back. He got there before I did.
I got there, and I scoped the place out. I got there right when the doors opened, and I scoped the place out, and I said, okay, the food is being made right there in the kitchen behind those big glass windows where I can see all the cooks working it. I'm going to grab me a booth right there, because then when the guys come out with the hors d'oeuvres, you are first in line. They're going to offer it first to you before anybody else gets their grubby fingers on it.
And by the way, they did.
Oh, they did.
I found Wade in the back.
Yep.
Wade was just eating food in a little plate by himself.
What? No, I was rocking 2 plates, bro. I was rocking 2 plates.
We ate so effing much. Oh, my God. Because here's the thing. They had all those hors d'oeuvres, which are delicious. Oh, and they also had a carving station.
Yeah.
With what's it called? Mashed potatoes that you loved, right?
Yep.
And then here's the thing. They had dessert, which is usually where I live. But the dessert, not that great. Now, the whole cast was there. Jesse Eisenberg, who does I think Jesse Eisenberg is getting a little underpraised for his role. I think he's terrific, and I don't like that kid.
It's a little bit like Shia LaBeouf. I have the same issues with both of them.
But it's the same thing. Everything I don't like about Jesse Eisenberg
I agree.
Is what makes his portrayal of this character work for me.
And I agree. He's really good in it. I don't know that he's one of the best. He's not Colin Firth good, but he's good.
No, but if you imagine, what other actor are you going to put in that role? You're going to put Michael Cera?
No.
Can you imagine Michael Cera in Social Network?
I mean, you
Who
might
you put in that role?
Tobey Maguire. I don't know.
It'd be dreadful, just dreadful. I mean, seriously, it's like when you think of best actors, you think if you took him out of the movie and replaced him with somebody else, would the movie have been as good? Don't see it.
He was there at our little
You cannot
evening.
tell that story.
I can't tell the story because a certain colleague of ours went and conversed with him, and was so enamored of him that our colleague said talking to him was like rape. That was very funny.
By the way, that was not me.
Enormously amusing. It was funny. That line was in the way that it was delivered with such relish. It kind of sent us into a tizzy for the rest of the evening. Anyway, well, that's Social Network, which, by the way, is a fantastic Blu-ray. They shot the thing with the red camera, which always transfers beautifully to Blu-ray. The last time I saw this a red film that went just bananas on Blu-ray was District 9. And this has that same sheen. You know, the film it looks spectacular, really good. You get 2 audio commentaries on here, one with the cast and Aaron Sorkin, and the other with David Fincher. Got to tell you, the Sorkin commentary is the better one. I think this is more an Aaron Sorkin film than a David Fincher film.
Oh, I agree.
It really
it's a writing showcase, not a directing showcase.
And then Disc 2 is just loaded with all kinds of stuff that is begging for an Academy Award, including this really good documentary about how the whole thing kind of came together. Really, really good. And Jeff Cronenweth talks about the shooting of the thing. And by the way, Jeff Cronenweth, who shot it, son of
Jordan,
who shot
Alien,
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah. So, good genes there. And a lot of other stuff. Trent Reznor on the score. And it's good. I mean, it is a good Blu-ray. It's a really top-notch Blu-ray. And as long as we're into, here's a segue, go from Facebook to blogging. Check it out. This is going to talk a little bit about a couple of horror things, and then we'll wrap it up with our amazing batch of classics that come out this week. Some horror stuff, just it's not Halloween or anything, but Bitter Feast is really kind of a cool nouveau exploitation film. It's always hard to find a new twist on the horror genre, but this one finds it, and it finds it because James LeGros is such a great actor. James LeGros has been an indie darling for so many years, and he plays a chef whose career is destroyed by a blogger. So he kidnaps the blogger and basically puts him through these bizarre cooking tests in a remote cabin where if he doesn't fix the food to perfection, he gets punished.
What is that?
It's hysterical.
Like a comedy.
It should be a comedy, but it's terrifyingly funny and funny in a terrifying way. It's pretty great, but it's all because James LeGros is just great. James LeGros is awesome. He just rocked it in one of the best recent episodes of Law & Order, and he's just still got it. And the rest are a bunch of After Dark Horror Fest double features that are at long last on Blu-ray. And fans of these, I'm going to warn you, a lot of these movies don't really deserve to be on Blu-ray, but if you got to have them on Blu-ray, fine. I'm not going to obviously keep you away from it. Borderland, the unrated director's cut, and Crazy Eights is one. The Graves, which I'm kind of fond of, and Zombies of Mass Destruction. That's probably the best of the 4. Then we get The Grave Dancers and Wicked Little Things. Absolutely no reason to pick up either one of those. And then The Broken and The Butterfly Effect 3 Revelations, which... you know what? The Broken actually it makes a pretty good transfer to Blu-ray. So anyway, again, none of these films, if you've seen them, if you want to have them, if you have the DVDs, you're perfectly fine. There's no huge reason to upgrade to Blu-ray unless you want to be a complete Blu-ray purist and not have any filthy DVDs marring the line of your shelf. But there they are. They're out. So do what you're gonna do. All right, Mark.
Hi, Wade.
Shall we get? I mean, The Social Network is a big deal this week, but we got two biggies right here.
Oh, you don't have to give me that one, but you could.
You want this one?
No.
Okay, you want this one, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, they only sent me one. It's my baby.
You're a poopy head.
I know I'm a poopy head, but the 30th anniversary edition of Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull. Raging Bull, Mark.
Raging Bull, by the way, on Blu-ray. That means that resplendent.
It is Blu-ray.
Black and white on Blu-ray.
Michael Chapman's unbelievable Oscar-winning cinematography on Blu-ray in black and white. Blu-ray and DVD here, by the way. This film is it gets better and better and better all the time, and especially with The Fighter getting so much attention right now. David O. Russell got an Oscar, got a DGA nomination.
I
today.
know.
Isn't that weird?
It's like the resurrection of David
his
Russell.
career.
Yeah.
But it's like his least interesting film. I mean, it's not a bad film, but it's not a great film. It's just there. It's fine. It's adequate. It's safe. It doesn't take any risks, and it is what it is. But it's no Raging Bull. Not even close. But anyway,
you know the story of why Scorsese shot this in black and white.
Tell us.
At first, they were supposed to shoot this in color, and Scorsese didn't like the test footage that they shot in the ring.
Interesting.
They was trying to figure out why. Now, Scorsese was one of Scorsese's mentors was Michael Powell.
Yeah.
From the Powell-Pressburger films, the Archer films, and
whose wife, Thelma Schoonmaker, has been a long-time editor for Scorsese. She's cut almost all of his stuff.
So, as the story goes, Michael Powell, friend of Scorsese's, one of Scorsese's mentors, said that what was throwing him off was the color of the gloves. And the color of the gloves was kind of like taking attention away from the fighters and their faces and the detail, and that's what was throwing him off. And so Scorsese said, let's try it in black and white. And the rest, I mean, it was amazing.
Sweet.
Supposedly that's the story of why he shot it in black and white.
Well, it's just extraordinary. It really is. I mean, it just looks unbelievable.
Great, amazing detail.
Unbelievable detail. Now, mind you, the whole movie is not in black and white. There is the home movie footage in it, which is in color, which is a great little twist. The reality of the film is all black and white, whereas the perception of reality, the footage within the footage, the film within the film is all in color. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. You get 3 commentaries. 3, count them, 3 commentaries. Martin Scorsese with Thelma Schoonmaker, a cast and crew, and storytellers. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't listen to the other 2. The only ones worth listening to, as far as I'm concerned, is Scorsese and Thelma. And then a bunch of featurettes. An interesting little tidbit here is Kathy Moriarty's Tonight Show appearance in 1981, which was just on the eve of the Oscars. And that's pretty great. A 4-part documentary called Raging Bull Fight Night, and then this vintage newsreel footage of the real Jake LaMotta, and that's kind of a nice treat too. By the way, Jake LaMotta, such a tragic life. His what has he lost? 3 sons, 2 sons, something in plane crashes or something.
Is that right?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Did not know that.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, gotta get this Raging Bull Blu-ray and DVD. It's the best. Absolutely the best. Some new interviews, too, by the way. And then also out this week, and I have mixed feelings about this, and I'll get into this in a second, Kevin Costner's Dances with Wolves 20th anniversary. Now, this is a Blu-ray of not the cut that won Academy Awards. This is not the 7 Oscar-winning 1990 movie. This is the extended version of that movie, which is almost an hour longer, which in my opinion is far superior. The original Dances with Wolves, which is about 3 hours and 1 minute.
How long do you want?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. The original Dances with Wolves is a good film, a really good film that I liked a lot. It's 3 hours long. It's about 3 hours and a minute. And then I think it was 1990, maybe 1990, the movie was, it had to be late 90s because the movie came out in 1990. So the movie was 1990, so it was let me do the math on this. It'd be like 1990, maybe 1993. I can't remember. Anyway, I was in Paris, and I saw the 4-hour cut at a theater in Paris called the Grand Rex, which is enormous. It's like 4 stories high, 3 balconies. It's just obnoxious. Giant screen, seats something like 4,000 people. Huge. And it was unbelievable. I could not believe how good the 4-hour version was. It had an intermission, but it filled in so many blanks, and it just elaborated more on the Indian culture, and the narrative was just so much richer. It was amazing how much better it was. Honestly, a masterpiece, a far better film. However, I do think they should be releasing, for the 20th anniversary, they should be releasing the film that won 7 Academy Awards. Release both cuts, but please at least release the one that won 7 Academy Awards just for historic purposes, just so that we have an actual record of that film still.
Yeah, but you know which movie should have won Best Picture that year? Goodfellas.
That was the better film that year, wasn't it? Yeah.
But this is all
anyway
politically correct.
Water under the bridge.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Blah,
well, 2 discs here. You get the extended version of this with a great audio commentary by Costner and Jim Wilson. Another audio commentary by Dean Semler and editor Neil Travis. Semler is a terrific cinematographer, good guy from Down Under. And a whole bunch of featurette-y stuff as well, but as well as the original making of featurette and the original trailer, which feels kind of cheesy now. The 7.1 audio is just beautiful. That John Barry music is spectacular, but I still want the other cut. I want the other cut, man. They need to do that for us, even if it's not the best version. And then 3 more quick little classics this week that you should be aware of. Once Upon a Time in America, not the most brilliant transfer that I was hoping for. Warner Brothers seems to have spat this one out without as much attention as I would have liked. Our buddy Richard Schickel, grumble, 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 does the commentary, and there's an excerpt from the documentary Once Upon a Time, Sergio Leone, which I would prefer the entire documentary be on here, but that's okay. Other than that, no special features, and this film is also about nearly 4 hours long. Pretty great movie, but I just wish they had given it a real kind of, this one almost begs for that Warner Brothers Blu-ray book treatment, and I hope they're maybe holding off on that. But anyway, Arnon Milchan produced that too.
He's a jerk.
How's your J-Date thing going over there?
I just emailed a girl.
Did you?
She's 35 and she's a chef.
Really?
I'll see if she emails me back.
Why I just mentioned a movie about a chef who kidnaps a blogger. She might kidnap you.
That would be okay.
Right.
At least based on the picture, that would be fine.
Yes. And then the last 2 of these classics, we got a couple from Criterion here. Robinson Crusoe on Mars. I know what you're thinking. Robinson Crusoe on Mars from Criterion Collection? What is the world coming to? This film has a fascinating history, and it is kind of a cult classic. Criterion has released the Blob as well, and they come up with some weird exploitation classics every once in a while. And this is a Blu-ray, but it's out on DVD and Blu-ray. Robinson Crusoe on Mars is this bizarre movie from 1964, directed by Byron Haskin, who was previously did the special effects on War of the Worlds and a lot of stuff on television. And it's kind of a film ahead of its time in many respects, about an astronaut who crash lands on Mars and has to somehow do the Robinson Crusoe thing and stay alive. A little bit dated, but you look at it and you go, wow, they didn't have CGI back then, and that's pretty impressive. Tons and tons and tons of the usual Criterion extras on here, including a music video for the song Robinson Crusoe on Mars. And then the last Criterion Collection film this week, which I think is a must-have, is Army of Shadows by Jean-Pierre Melville, which is about the French resistance during World War II.
That's
and
a great film.
It's a great film, but the amazing thing about this film was that it was never screened in the United States until 2006. And it wound up on a lot of top 10 lists that year. And I didn't put it on mine because I was like, I didn't feel like it was honest. Just because it wasn't released until 2006, should I? And I kind of struggled with that, but a lot of our colleagues felt like, nope, it's a 2006 film, so they put it on their top 10s. But it is great, and here's a little bit about the cast. You know who one of the cast members in this is, don't you?
Oh, Andy Griffith.
Where did you come up with that one? Jean-Pierre Cassel.
Oh, who's the father of
Vincent Cassel, who is a pretty great actor.
He's cool.
Amazing actor.
Black Swan.
Oh yeah, he's really good in Black Swan.
He is good in Black Swan.
By the way, did you see the Black Swan spoof on Saturday Night Live?
Everyone's talking about
with
that.
Jim Carrey. Oh my gosh,
it.
you have to go onto whatever it is. What's the NBC site?
NBC.com?
No, the NBC site that has all the. It's not Hulu. Go on to Hulu.
Oh really?
Go on to Hulu and check it out. Oh my gosh, it is so beyond funny. I could not stop crying. I was laughing so hard. Anyway, we'll get back to Army of Shadows here. Army of Shadows is a great, great film, and still very, very timely, believe it or not. This includes tons of great extras here, including an audio commentary by film historian Ginette Vincent-Do, some interviews with people who were involved in the film, great footage from when it was shot of Melville doing his thing, and a really cool short documentary called Le Journal de la Résistance from 1944, which was actually shot during the final days of the German occupation. So amazing stuff on here, a real chunk of history. And with that, we're done. Check us out, Stupid for Movies, Thursday, 8 o'clock Pacific Time at stupidformovies.com. See you next week.